Hello everybody, it's Chris and welcome back to Something Else Amiga. What do we have on the channel today? Today we have my 3000 tower serial 588. And unfortunately, as you may or may not have seen, it has suffered a tragic, weird scenario where I tested out a BFG in it and something happened and now I have no chip RAM. I replaced the chip RAM, the soldered in chip RAM, the logic, the buffers, the whole nine, checked, triple checked, quadruple checked everything, probably missed something. Now I have 128K of chip RAM, up from 32K? Yeah, it has 2 megs on board. So, I'm screwed, right? Or I'm screwed until I fix it, which may take a while. I have all the chips and parts and things that I've already replaced. All the chip RAM I replaced brand new, socketed. You probably saw all that, so I'm not going to ramble on. Long story short, I have gotten nowhere. It's been 4 months. It's currently end of November when I'm filming this. Happy Turkey Day to you guys in America, or wherever you celebrate. Happy Turkey Day if you're just eating turkey. I'm friends with people from all around the world, and I'm glad to call you friends and know you all. It's wonderful. Thank you. I've been talking with one of my friends for many years. We talk stuff about solar power and Amigas and all sorts of stuff. Anywho, after a significant amount of begging, pleading, and finally some good card trades, I was able to procure a replacement motherboard from Mr. Keith D. I'm not going to say your last name because I don't want people hounding you for parts. But without you, it would not be possible to save this unit. The 3000 tower is 68 US pounds. Into your communist math or British stone, it's heavy. Let's light this candle. Yep. Here is the motherboard. I have chip RAM socketed in. Here is the replacement motherboard for Mr. Keith. I have to swap some chips except for one chip. This has an 8375. Yep. 8375 Agnes on here. They're all Rev 6.1s. This is a 6.1, but doing some historical research, the units without the 8372 were considered a Rev 6.3. They were part of the 3000T/040. Hence, you're going to notice the 030 and the FPU are totally missing from this board. Yes, as well as all of the logic, which is fine. He did leave the 2.04 ROMs in there. Much appreciated. Yeah, so I got to swap over the chips, and we'll be good to go. And in turn, I have sent him a boatload of cards to test out, some rare things for saving my butt. And I hope he gets much enjoyment or sells them. I just can't thank you enough for saving this machine. You know I'm hanging on to him. I don't let him go. And this will now be in here. At least I don't have to worry about that CPU heatsink. So I'm going to wrap this back up in its 400 tons of anti-static bubble wrap. And I'm going to get this unit out. You've probably seen me take these things apart more times than you care to. That's the disc tray. You just give it a tug. It sounds like death and it pops out. Here's my paper. It's a cardboard with some silver paper. It's a thick, almost cardstock. This is basically like a silver sticker. Think of that metallized tape you use for duct work. That's what it reminds me of. Perforated so you could rip it and put... Yeah, I don't know. To get all the rest of the board out, I have to take all these out. 5mm chalked in here. Turn the torque down so I can, and then I just simply take these out. So, this will be for another day. I will have to acquire chips to make this work again after swapping over. To swap over the 3000, it will not be sitting up. It will be laid down flat. I have to have room for 2 boards and then put this all back together. So this is This is a 6.1 also, except it's got the 8372B Agnes, which is going to be going back to Mr. Keith with his package. I'll slap it in a DKB Mega chip, so that way you can use that too. They're getting pretty expensive, those DKB Mega chips. And if you can use it, that's wonderful. If not, you can sell it and recoup some costs. And we're going to start loading up. I'm not going to bore you with the swaps because it's just that. Oh my god, boring. And I'll flip back and we'll be done. So right now, she's the new, she's the orig. And we'll take a peek in the future. This one's been recapped. This one's all original. So maybe it'll get recapped, maybe it won't. So I'm mid-flight through this pickle, getting ready to do the fast ram, and I noticed, you know, the strange question of the 8375 versus the 8372B. And I started looking at the stickers. Everything matches up, except right here on the board is an assembly number sticker. This is the old board. And this is my original board. This thing right here. See that long number right there? Well, they're all the same all the way across, except for the last 4, because that's the assembly number. Now this one you can see is 440. Cool, right? 440. Now the case is 588. That doesn't really matter. So this was the 440th board assembled of pseudo 8000. This board is 3348. So that gives us a difference of 2,908 boards before this one was born after this one. So that's where some changes have come into, like, little revision things I find different. Different voltage regulator heatsink. Tiny one. Different voltage regulator entirely. Different chips used entirely in this one than this one. So these are all Fairchild chips. These are Texas Instruments, Motorola, and Fairchild. I guess it's just what they had on the line at the time. So it's got newer pals than mine for this one. It's just weird. Little things I'm finding. Different resistor packs. Not only in color, but in length. I have a SIL turn pin socket for U103. This one has standard. Here's another little key identifier. On this one here, it says GXBV0. And then 9152, right? This one is 9226. That's a difference of 74. I don't know if there's 74 different changes on here, but it's kind of interesting to see. Should I unsolder my QFP CPU and FPU and put it on here? Nope. We're not doing that at all. It's going to stay as is. Now I'm going to swap out all of these Zip 20 chips over to here. This board's got some dust on it because it's dusty. Well, that's usually the reason for dust.
Are you stupid or something?
That took an hour plus. All the junk has been moved over to here. I put my ROMs in here, those ROMs in there. This gets set aside. Okay, so I found a heatsink. It's got the blue thermal tape crap on it. I'm gonna do a little bit of warming up. That way it sticks better. I did find a fan, 40mm. Looks like it'll screw into there somehow. I don't have the screws for it. I'm going to physically light this stuff with flame and stick it on there. Why? Because it ain't going to stick really well with the processor. Just raw nakedness. Now it does fit perfectly. 40 by 40mm. If you're looking for a 60 to 40 fan, it's just exactly the same size as the chip. Some of your 3640s have a heatsink click thing like the old 46s do. This does not, so hence thermal adhesion tape. Worked fine all the time before, will work fine again. As I just heat this up, not to the point of melting or burning it, just to give it some heat. It helps the glue stick and makes life a little easier. I feel it, I keep heating it until I can feel the heat in my hand. And a jiggle. And it should be good to go. Good enough for me. As this heats up, it will further stick. Chatting with Mr. Keith D about this and my poutine. Yep. Channeling my inner Canadian. I made myself. Yep. Okay, first off, I use crinkle cut fries. This is America, where Jesus lives. And that's all I had. Got myself some cheese curd, cheddar kind. Made myself some poutine, if you saw that on the old Instaface or Facebooker. Not bad. Really good. This guy ate the whole bowl. It was a big bowl too. I took another picture with a little bit, where's the damn glare? A little bit less, yeah, well that's screwed up. A little bit less cheese on there. That curd stuff's expensive. And I did find a picture yesterday of the grocery store Love. That is the chicken box. And of course, you know I put one in my cart. For now, I'm not worried about a fan because this 040 is only running at 25 megahertz. It does have dissipation, and the 3000 tower has a fan here and a fan here. So it usually does a pretty good job at circulation. Now the fun begins. I have to plop this bad boy, this big case right here, back up on this bench, lay her down, and I'm going to put this board back in. And I'll blip back to when it's done. Okay, so I'm back up. This heat sink's not sticking, so I'm not going to use this card for now. I'm going to use my trusty 68040, Mr. T edition. I'm going to double check the jumpers because this has no CPU, so I keep a thing on my phone with the 030, 060, whatever jumpers. We're going to look for the turn off this light. Low, high, and I guess I should unplug the hard drive, but I'm just going to let it boot. Low, high, hard drive. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe? Yeah. I think we're booting. Keith, man, you're a lifesaver, brother. You really are. It's the big toe out. Look at that. Right back to where I was. I don't know what I'm in. Right back to where I was, I don't know. Okay, the back is in. Now this board might require some potentiometer adjustment on VC470, the trimmer cap. Double mouse buttoning so I can get my, just check my Hertz stuff here. So that is amber chip enabled. This is amber chip disabled. Still pretty good. Amber enabled. Alright, RGB. Alright, RGB adapter. Good. Turning it off. Okay, so there is a weird capacitor here on the jumper. With the capacitor as the jumper, it works fine. Without the capacitor as the jumper, you get that crazy crap. Alright, as you can tell by the loud noise down here, chip RAM's passing, 2.1 round, fans on to cool off whatever it can cool off with everything being open. That jumper with a capacitor on it is what makes the 8375 VBB work in this. I have to start pulling RAM out. So it looks like 32-bit bus, 16-bit bus, D8, 9, 10, 11, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. On the second bank. That's weird. Let me pull it out. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? This info. Everybody runs it. Speed 25 megahertz, 68040. No big deal. (25.6). We are 1.0 with a A4000. That's what you want to see. Memory, we have 16 megs of 32-bit fast. That one of them is bad. 2 megs of chip that pass fine. All is well, unless I do something that requires memory. Then it falls on its face. Internal speaker's working. But
Mortimer, we're back.
I don't know what's going on with my chip RAM. I've probably pulled them out so much, maybe I dinged one. Had the prison bracelet on the whole time, but these things happen. Anyway, thanks to Mr. Keith D for saving my butt, and thank you guys for hanging out with me for a little while. I'm going to piece this back together, figure out that chip. Just want to give you an update of the 3000 tower board replacement, and we're going to go back to the spaghetti noodles here, and I'm going to get this bad boy figured out once I acquire some more chips. So, hey, small victory, I had a bent pin on one of those damn zip RAM chips. Now we got past it. It was on the very first chip. I just happened to glance in there. I'm like, you freaking idiot. They're a pain in the butt. If you've ever seen a Zip 20, it's 20 little fingers that are bent, and you got to squish them in and do a jiggle, and then one says, hey, or another one says, hey, hey, next thing you know, you're doing gangster signs, and your RAM don't work. I'm going to let this roll and make sure it's good, and then hook the hard drive back up, and we should be able to run programs. Alright, 2.2 and counting, 2.3 and counting. I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to plug the Zulu back in. We are on my newer 3.2.1 ROMs. The resistor thing, or the capacitor on that NTSC/PAL jumper, whichever way you're floating, it's not a normal jumper, and the reason that is because this has an 8375 VBB chip in it. So apparently it's pin compatible with the 8372 if you have that capacitor on that jumper. Learn something new every day. Don't run into these that often, and every one I've ran into has been a normal one, 8372B, 8372AB. So there you go. That's file 1 for the history books and the old noggin up there. Okay, so I got all my sizes. I'm going to start copying stuff to RAM. 14.4 megs and using it up. I'm copying 7 right now. Then I'll just keep copying it over and over. A lot of times I would copy my C directory endlessly because it's a couple megs and it copied pretty quick. But I'm just copying the internet. Alright, I copied that sucker down to 494 kilobits of RAM. I'm going to cancel and abort. Now I'm going to quit Opus, and I should barely have... I have 227K of chip RAM and, well, just about a meg now because I quit directory Opus, so I'd have to keep copying stuff. But I'm good. I'm going to reboot, and I'm going to fire up D-Paint here. Yep. NTSC. Make my entry for the art contest. I'm not good at D-Paint, but I can draw a couple things. Alright. Make some eyeballs. And a nose. There we go. Just painted that in 5 seconds. Just did not. I loaded some other whatever they have in there. That's a D-Paint anim plan. He's throwing water on a dog or squirting a hose at him, or... Oh, it's a fire hydrant squirting a dog. Okay, in 2 color. That's neat. So there you go. It works. Right now we're 3640. There is no onboard chip. I haven't rolled out putting one in yet, but I'll probably leave well enough alone. Next task is to get the warp engine working. I have to jumper some stuff. I have to remember what it is. I actually have the book for the warp engine, but you know, it's only for a 4000. It doesn't say. And I know why it's not going to work, because of the SCSI on board. It has some weirdness. So I'll have to figure that out. I'll update to history. I managed to put a heatsink and a fan on the warp engine. This is the warp engine for the 4000. Did a little bit of digging on the old history machine there behind me and found an old article from 1998, when these were brand new-ish. On the 3000 version, there's a little peg out here on JP4. And then this machine is a 4000, so missing JP4. So I'm going to solder in a stick the JP4. It goes to pin 21 of U350 CIA. And that way, it just magically works. Without it, it won't work. The original 3000 desktop version of this card had slanted slots, and you only got 2 of them because of clearance issues of height. Because this is going in a tower, she can really run tall, and it doesn't matter. Plenty of room in here. So I'm going to slap a pin in JP4, run a wire clip to this chip, and see if it boots. I got the Live Gotta Go Fast RAM in there, and that's been working great, but I want the warp to have some power, and then I'm going to run the Zulu off the warp because it's a faster SCSI than the built-in. We got enough cable room, and we'll see what we get. But that's for another episode. So that's all I got for now. Thank you guys for coming along on this journey. I'll put this back together off camera and stick her over on the shelf before I do the next upgrade. So thanks for watching. As always, I hope you learned something.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?